Welcome to Swaggerslifestyle.
Hello. Do you know that the UK is home to the oldest man-made structure ever built, Stonehenge, an imposing ring of standing stone that is over 5,000 years old, even outdating the Egyptian pyramids? London is home to the world's oldest underground passage railway, now commonly called the Tube. Cricket, rugby, baseball and football originated from England. Welcome to another insightful series of A Nigeria Living In. Due to popular demand, we'll be taking a trip back to the United Kingdom, where King Charles III rules. I will be having an insightful conversation with a beautiful tech expert and YouTuber. She creates content about faith, career in tech, and living a biblical lifestyle on her channel Tech with D. I will allow her to please introduce herself. Can we meet you?
Thank you very much. My name is Deborah Esther, also known as Tech with D as well. I work as a data engineer in a global engineering company. And yeah, it's been interesting, working in the UK, although that's the only place I've worked in so far. But it's definitely trying to see how to navigate the corporate life and everything like that.
So let's go straight into the conversation. At what point in life did you decide you wanted a career in tech, and why tech?
So the point to which where I wanted to get into tech was essentially I studied economics and I liked the data aspect of things. I really enjoyed that, I got to, use SPSS, which was analytical, and I wanted to go into data. And I know with data that is essentially tech. So I said to myself, okay, I know I'd learned economics, but I can definitely get into engineering. So I first landed a job as a test analyst, which has nothing to do with data, but that's how I got my foot in the door within Capgemini. But just to backtrack, I got a job as a business analyst in a software school, but I ended that job 6 months in, and then I got a new job as a test analyst at Capgemini, and that's where my tech career pretty much took off and started. And it was because I had passion for data and I really wanted to actually understand the ins and outs of data and know how to get there to be I know how to get there and be diligent with my journey as well. So starting as a test analyst allowed me to flow to become a data engineer within Capgemini and then leaving to now getting a more senior role in a new company that I'm in now.
So how have you been able to evolve in an industry, formerly dominated by men?
That's a very good question. I was just having this conversation with a friend. How does it feel to be in an industry that is so male dominated? And you really have to put like a lot of assertiveness in your conversation and even when you are doing something. But I think it's interesting because with me studying economics, it's something that I'm used to because economics is very male dominated. And one thing I notice is that when you are around a lot of men, it does actually drive you more to be more to push harder. So I don't find it as a intimidating factor, but I find it as a motivational factor in the sense where, okay, I'm around a lot of men, they're very driven, they're engineers as well, and I'm also an engineer. And I don't really look like an engineer in a sense, quote unquote, but it's motivational. I mean, with the hair, lashes, and everything, I don't really look like. So it kind of breaks that even that mold of how they should look like. So I think it's motivational. And I love challenging myself and looking different from the normal self, how things should look like in a sense. So it's just like yeah, I think it's just how I am in a sense.
So what is your advice to any woman out there that wants to pursue a career in tech?
My main advice for anyone that wants to get into tech, especially being a woman of color, is you have to believe in yourself firstly. You have to know that you can break that barrier and get into that door. And once you believe in yourself, everything becomes easier. Because if you don't believe that you can do it, everything else will become very hard and very, very lackluster in the sense where if you face a challenge, you will quit instantly. There's many no's I faced. There's many things where I faced where people were just saying, "Oh, why are you here? Like you're an engineer, but who told you to come to this company?" Sort of thing. But I didn't care about that because I knew my end goal. So believe in yourself and believe in what you want to get into within tech, and also master your craft, master whatever job where you want to get, whether it's engineering, software engineering. Find those specific coding languages, learn them, master them, become the best at them. So when you come to an interview, they know they can't leave without giving you a job. This comes with any other role, for example, PM, cybersecurity, project management. I think I mentioned that already, or business analytics. Whatever business analysts need, whatever any of these roles need, master that and become the best of it at it. Because being a woman doesn't negate you from getting the job. It just makes you different. So when you're the best at it, they have no choice but to give you that role. And I think that was my case. When I applied to become an engineer, I mastered one particular thing, and when it came to hiring me, they said, "Okay, we have to take you," you know, because it can't not take you because you're a woman in a sense, and you just have to really just master that in that aspect.
Thank you. That's actually profound. So how did you relocate to the UK? How many years have you been in the UK and why the UK?
Okay, so I was actually born in the UK, which is interesting, but the government will say I wasn't born in the UK because my parents are from my parents are from Nigeria. So when they came, they had to obviously get the neutralization. I think it's the passport, something like that. So obviously the UK government made it look like I wasn't born here, but I was born here. But even being born here, it feels like I still face the same struggles as if I wasn't born here, because I am still a Nigerian woman. Um, I may not be as culturally versed as someone that is coming from Nigeria in terms of languages and everything, but I know the food. But being a woman of culture, you are still going to want to find your culture when you're in a working environment. So even in my current job now, I'm in the Nigerian society. Even though I was born here, I want to be so attached to people that are like me because it makes it easier to go on my journey of tech and corporate life as well.
Thank you so much for sharing. So at what point did you go back to the UK? Because you said you were born here, but you came to Nigeria at some point, or you've been there all through your life.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the UK my whole life. I do have been going to Nigeria back
Ah,
and
that's
forth.
nice.
I think even this year I went to Nigeria for a few weeks. Yeah, so I mean, I'm attached to Nigeria. It's in my bloodline. It's in my blood. But yeah, I was born here and I was raised here as well.
So tell us more about the UK, their history, weather, customs, tradition, currency. Let's see UK through your eyes.
Actually, the UK, popular to believe the UK is, I guess, the land of the free to a lot of people outside of the UK. But inside of the UK, it's still just normal in terms of the economy. The economy is classified as a terrible one right now, especially coming out of COVID and coming out of a place where we were still trying to pull out of the deficit that we walked into, 2019, 2020, COVID-19 and everything. Um, but the UK is a good place to start in terms of when you do come here, it's a good place to get a job. As of, not in comparison to America, but it's a good place to get a job and it's a good place to build your community, build your environment. And I say this with a lot of intention. In order to build something around, you have to be very intentional to do that. And the UK does allow that, atmosphere. At the same time, there's some negatives about the UK, like the weather, as you mentioned. The weather is not great. Although I'm speaking like this in the summer where we just had like 30 degrees just last week, is not a consistent thing. I mean, Nigeria, we love heat. Not all the time, but the heat is consistent in Nigeria. But in the UK, it's very cold. So if you're coming from Nigeria to the UK, you're going to find that you're going to be putting hats and gloves on, even in the summer, because it's very, very cold here. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you get used to it as well. But all in all, the UK I believe it's a good country to develop yourself. It's not a country that a lot of people are staying at. I know a lot of people are moving away from the UK, like going to other countries that do allow development and businesses to thrive more easily. Because there's a lot of taxes you pay here. There's a lot of things that you have to you're charged for. So it can limit even your growth, even though it does allow to start more easily as well.
With the UK, a lot of people are actually moving, like you said. So what is the best way or the best pathway to getting like a PR right now, given that there's a lot of immigration issues going on and there's, tightening up of, immigration laws and all of that. So what is the best way for anyone or a Nigerian in the UK right now to get like a PR?
What is the best way to get a PR? We will have to go and search a little bit. um, But I think the best way is the first thing is to do a lot of investigation because I can give you the information, I can give you the understanding, but I'll go from the experiences I've learned from other people. I've learned from other people. So the best way to get PR is to read the requirements that is required for you to get it. So what do they desire? What do they want from you? and make sure you tick everything off that box. Because there's no cutting corners when you want to come to the UK. There's no cutting corners when you want to get a job in the UK. There's no cutting corners when you want to get an international job. So everything that they require, you have to just make sure you tick it off on that aspect. And I think that's all I can give in terms of the information I have on PR as well.
Thank you so much for sharing. So how are you able to maintain your Nigerian heritage in the UK?
Um, I think I mentioned before at work. So I work in an engineering company, and it's consulting as well, and it's very big, and there's a lot of Nigerians. And fun facts, there's a lot of Nigerians that have just come into the UK, but they do hire people into the company, and it's called Atkins Realis. So, it's a company where it does pull people into engineering, and they do pay for visas as well. How I get stuck into my culture is we have a Nigerian society, and I this allows me to really stay so connected, so close to people that not only speak my language, they eat my food. We're able to gist, we're able to laugh, we're able to speak about things that only Nigerians
Mm.
can relate to. Especially being a Christian Nigerian as well. From a religious standpoint, relating to them is nice. And when you have that, especially at work, it kind of makes you feel more at ease, comfortable, and everything. Although being born here, I love that aspect of it. Even just recently, we had a Nigerian Society event when everyone brought their foods and everything. There was puff puff, there was jollof thing, and it was lovely to see. And it was in London. It was amazing. And some of these people just came, just from Nigeria, not more than 10 years ago, just recently. And not only that, but of course, my family are Nigerian as well. So of course, we love Nigerian restaurants. Any
Oh, that's
authentic Nigerian restaurant we can find anywhere around us in London, we're going. To obviously keep that, you know, culture alive, and also with my nephews as well, making sure that they understand the language. In terms of the Yoruba as well, because I'm from the Yoruba
mm-hmm.
tribe, and making sure that they are in touch with that as well, not losing the aspect of
That
what it
aspect,
means to be
yeah.
Nigerian.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what we're trying to do. Because being in the UK, you kind of lose touch of where you come from, where your lineage is from. So it's always good to connect with where you're from, with people that are around you, just to keep it, keep the hope of being the Nigerian alive in you. So yeah, and I do go to Nigeria often as well.
What is it like living in the UK? What do you love and what do you dislike, and how do they treat foreigners?
I like a lot of things about living
Mm,
in the UK. Being born here, it kind of changes the perspective because I don't have anything to compare
mm,
it with. I can only say from when I have been in Nigeria how that can be comparing it to coming to the UK. But even though I was born here and my accent does sound very, I guess, quote unquote British, I do still face things, maybe racial profiling and racial
mm-hmm.
discrimination at times, because before they hear my accent, they're going to see my
Sure.
skin. So that's the first point of contact. So it doesn't matter whether I just came from Nigeria or I was born here, I'm still probably
The
going to face
same
the same
stereotype.
thing, regardless if it's Deborah from,
I said you're still
sorry?
going to face the same stereotype.
Yes, exactly. Because your accent doesn't really stop the stereotype from coming because they're not gonna hear that before
That's
they
true.
look at you. It's only after when they speak to you like, oh okay, you're actually born here, sort of thing. And especially being a dark skinned woman as well. Obviously I do face, colorism and everything, but I think those are the things where it's gonna happen. We live in a world where it's very judgmental. We live in a world where it's we see with our eyes and we judge with the carnal eyes as well, especially being from a Christian, I'm a spiritual person. So um I'm not going to allow that to limit me or stop me from progressing and getting to where I need to go as a woman, a Christian woman first before a Nigerian
Mm,
woman as well. So, yeah.
I like that. As a Christian woman first, that's your first
Yeah.
or your primary identity. A Christian
Identity.
first, then every
Exactly.
other thing. I like that. I like that. I like that. So is UK a good country for Nigerians to relocate to?
I'm not, I'm not sure if I say yes or no. Um, I think it's a yes depending on what you want to achieve when you get to the
Mm.
UK. If you want to just come to the UK and you just want to chill, not make any progression in your life, you will find it extremely hard because one thing about the UK is they're going to catch you and they're going to want you to pay the
That's true.
bills.
Their
So
taxes are,
they,
yeah.
yes. So if you come here and you don't have any particular agenda or purpose, you're gonna find yourself paying for stuff. It's gonna stress you out. You're gonna feel so depressed in terms of there's gonna be so much weight over you. Rent, water bill, this bill, that bill. So it's not a good idea if you want to come and you're not sure about why you want to come. However, if the Holy Spirit leads you here, then you have to ask the Lord, okay, God, what is the purpose for me to be here? So you can start working on that before you actually get here. Um, there are many countries that are better than the UK. Many countries, not only the US. 'Cause I know the US is not the popular place, it's not the popular destination, but there's other places like Switzerland. Germany is another good place. If it's for education, the UK is a good place. It's a fantastic location to stay for education. But if it's for career, the UK is not the best. There's other places that are better that you can find yourself really exceeding boundaries and doing amazing for your family and for your life as well. For example, for me being in tech, if I was born in Nigeria and I had a position to go to the US or the UK for tech purposely, I would go to the US because I know the finances are way better, financially is way better. Um, and even just building businesses, there's less regulations with building a company and everything. So depends on what your purpose is. That should be your driving force to where you should go and where you should destiny. Not don't just go because UK is great and UK is nice. No, please. We're paying money here.
I like that. It depends on what your purpose is. So even if you want to relocate, what is the purpose of that relocation? Then you can now decide where you want to go to. So how does work-life balance in the UK, compared to that of Nigeria? So that question really doesn't apply to you. So so I would recouch it like, how do you cope with work-life balance and also the mental health issue in the UK?
Yeah, so firstly, giving glory to God, balancing work and having finding balance is because of the strength that God gives to me. Um, One thing I noticed is that, especially engineering, is very demanding. You have to study a new coding language maybe every 3 months. You have to, manage teams and everything. You have to make sure you're meeting your deadlines and everything. Make sure that you're performing correctly. And that's their demand because they've hired you for that demand. So you now have to also meet that demand, also meet the demands of life as well, which is, your family, your friends, your community, making sure that you're giving time to God. And when I feel overwhelmed, because I do, because I am a human being, I'll give it always back to Jesus Christ because He's the one who created me. And so He knows how to handle me the most out of anyone. Um, in saying that, I do have a sisterhood community called By His Grace community. And that does take a lot of my time. I mentor and give spiritual advice to sisters as well, being the prophetess in the community and pouring into them. But at the same time, I have to put
That's true.
myself at a position where God is the center and everything else is secondary. Because if everything else is first and God is second, I'm going to feel the weight of life more so than if God is first and everything else is second. Um, so that's where I balance life. I make sure God is the first, so that anything else I just give it to Him and I trust Him that He'll make it easy for me. To be honest,
What is the UK's traditional staple food?
the main thing that I know a lot of British people eat, and I've eaten it, is amazing. And pie and mash, I've never had pie and mash before. I don't really think eat it because I've seen so many things on TikTok that it looks like they don't like it. So I'm not trying to put myself through that grief. Pie and mash. But definitely Chinese as well. Chinese food. Um, British people are starting to like jollof rice. I'm seeing like pounded yam. I'm seeing it a lot on TikTok. So it's definitely becoming something big. It's becoming something like amazing. Um, Jollof rice has become very big. There's a lot of African restaurants in the UK, a lot of them, a lot of them. But definitely fish and chips and pie and mash, and the very much saltish, tasteless type of, give me Lord, tasteless type of food.
So what is the UK famous and best known for?
The UK is known for 100% the Queen, Buckingham Palace. God rest her soul. She was what drove a lot of media attention to the UK for a long time. The royal family, essentially. And also just the UK being a place that has a lot of amazing universities as well. I think that does drive a lot of international people to UK. The UK profound education and education system. in university, and it has created and established so many amazing professors, people that are famous as well, actors. Let's go into actors as well. Schools that have produced musicians. So the UK is, although it's a small country, it's produced some really well renowned people who are in the history books, and also not even just in the history books, in our music history books, in our painting history books. It's just, yeah, it's a country that has produced a lot of powerful people.
Sure. Thanks for sharing. And I think you missed that they're actually famous for football too.
Yes, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, football. You see, my mind wasn't even thinking about football. That's so true. Football, Premier League. Oh my goodness, Arsenal, Manchester. This is Manchester or Man City or something. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
correct. There's Man City, there's Manchester
I'm
United.
I'm an
Yeah,
Arsenal
so
fan,
there's
but
Manchester.
I don't watch football. So,
Oh, really? I think you should jump ship and leave us now.
which what fan are you?
Oh, Liverpool. Liverpool.
Liverpool. That's all right
You
then.
never walk alone.
Wow.
So what are the success stories in UK that can be replicated in Nigeria?
The level of poverty in Nigeria can actually be lifted and can actually be improved. But I think down to maybe greed and the mismanagement of money and circulation of money causes the economy to be worse than it should be, because Nigeria
Mm-hmm,
produces oil. And we know with Dubai looking at United Arab Emirates, how they've handled their money with the oil production, that they have become one of the world renowned countries, that, cities and everything. People are going there to just go
mm-hmm,
on holiday, which I've been there as well. But Nigeria has that same power to
mm-hmm,
become, a very well-renowned country, but they choose, and I'm saying it from a point of choice because everything is a choice. They choose not to manage the money for every single person in Nigeria to have a better off life, because that will inherently make the economy and the country better if
mm-hmm,
every single person in the country
mm-hmm,
has a higher income and a higher standard of living as well. But not even only that, the legalistic way and structure of legislation that the UK does is very, very much so sought after. The way the UK has structured their economy and structured the government is not the best. Don't quote me, it's not the best, but it's working to a point where there's a lot of structure in this country. And if Nigeria had that same structure or similar or even better, I think you'll see so much more better ways of living in Nigeria. And sometimes people won't view Nigerians as lawless as well. There'll be more structure in how police are operating, more structure to how laws are placed and how people abide by that laws. There'll be more structure to how um, there'll be
mm-hmm,
more structure to how people relate to the government as well. Because I think in the UK, is no longer an agriculture; it's more of a service economy. Whereas the Nigeria is still agricultural. There's some parts that are very rural. There's some parts that haven't touched what the government is even speaking about. Whereas cities are going by the government. So there's a lot of things to touch base on that question, which is very interesting. So I don't want to go too deep because we'll
mm.
take the whole conversation.
Thank you so much. So there are two sides to the coin, right? So what can um, the British people learn from Nigerians?
One thing I love about Nigerians and Nigeria is the community aspect. Although I said you can build community in the UK, I feel like in Nigeria you don't need to build much community. People are just naturally around you. One thing I noticed is in Nigeria, if your house is open, your door is open, people come in, maybe bring jollof rice. You come and eat, my darling. Let's go and eat it. Cut the goat. Let's kill the goat together. The whole community has food. Whereas in the UK, I keep saying US, in the UK, people are way more cautious to share, to join communities. That's why I mentioned you have to build community in the UK. Whereas in Nigeria, you can naturally just begin to have a community if you position yourself correctly, and you come across as a very nice and genuine person. Don't get me wrong, there's people that are crazy everywhere. But Nigeria, I've noticed the sense of community is so strong. If, for example, I'm Nigerian and I root for my Nigerians, and the people other Nigerians see that, they are so willing to start sharing, liking, posting myself because I'm a fellow Nigerian. Whereas in the UK, it's not the same. And I think that's why we see in Nigeria, so many people can become so famous so easily, so popular because Nigerians, we root for each other. We really, and that's the sense of community that I absolutely love. And the UK can genuinely learn from that because we don't. Everyone is always so cautious. Don't touch me. Don't do this. Are you crazy? Are you mad? But Nigeria is not like that. They're very helpful. Another another example. I noticed in Nigeria when I'm there, if like for example an auntie or sister sees something that, or if you have something in your shirt, they're naturally gonna just wipe off your shirt. Oh hey sister, you have something there, like are you okay, sort of thing. There's a lot of care in having each other's backs as well, to some degree. Um but in the UK it's very much so, it's a bit colder, I would say. So yeah, it's more warm.
So what are the tourist attractions in the UK?
So the tourist attractions, I think we've mentioned in terms of Buckingham Palace. There's Legoland as well. Central London is a tourist attraction. I'm not sure why. It's where a lot of popular people go to for just looking at the lovely restaurants, viral bakeries and stuff like that. Also, the UK, they have theme parks as well. I know in Blackpool there's a theme park there. Not Legoland. I mentioned that. Nickelodeon Land as well in Blackpool, and there's a lot of there's beaches in Cornwall as well. So there's a few attractions in UK as well.
Thank you so much, Deborah, for coming on the show. And, it's just been a very insightful and wonderful conversation. I've had fun having this, conversation with you. So the reason why we're doing this is because there's a lot of stereotype about Nigerians living out of Nigeria. So when you hear the word Nigerians or Nigeria, people roll their eyes and, they get like, oh, they're this, they're that. So we're actually showcasing different Nigerians living out of Nigeria that are there legally. They are doing amazing jobs. They are actually lifting our banner high, and they are being good ambassador of Nigeria in the country that they are living. So that is why we're having, this program, out there. And so if you're a Nigerian living out of Nigeria and you would love to share your experience with us, you can reach us on swaggerslifestyle@gmail.com, and would love to have this conversation with you. Deborah, in conclusion, what would be your advice to anyone or any Nigerian that want to relocate to the UK?
Advice I would give to anyone that wants to move or relocate to the UK is write your vision down, write your goal down, and write your plan down. In the next 5 years, when you're in the UK or in another country, how do you want your life to look like? So that when you do get to the new country, you're currently aligning yourself with that plan. And if you're Christian, whether you're out or not, come to Christ. But pray over your plans and give it to God, as well as be financially ready for anything that could happen. So keep financial aid anywhere so that you know you're not um, shocked or surprised by anything.
All right, so thank you very much. Know that UK is home to delicious cuisines like full English breakfast, which has bacon, sausages, eggs, baked beans, grilled tomatoes, and tea, fish and chips, and steak and ale pie, Sunday roast, Yorkshire puddings, and gravy. Dainty sandwiches, cakes, scones are served on tier cake stands while enjoying your afternoon tea. Till I come your way next time, this is Gbogbo Swagger and this is Swagger's Lifestyle. Do not forget to stay true to yourself. And Nigerians living out of Nigeria, please keep being a good ambassador of your great country. Do take care and see you in the next one. Bye. Do not forget to what? Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you so much. And bye.
Swag, 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 swag.